Let's get super practical today inside the ads dashboard. I'm literally going to freeball this and show you 7 to 10 things that you can do with your ads to lower your cost per lead. And if you have absolutely no clue who I am, I'm Shoney. I've helped coaches over the last almost just short of a decade now grow their coaching businesses through Facebook advertising, also email marketing, funnels, socials, and things like that. But most people come to us for ads, and even last year, just for instance, we had everything from business coaches to fitness coaches to investment coaches to dog trainers to fiction writing coaches hit 6-figure months or 7-figure years inside their coaching business. So we're not playing around with good looking dashboards. We're actually focused upon the most important thing, money in versus money out, and really scaling businesses with ads that are perfect for them. And so what we'll go through here is a whole bunch of things that you can do to lower the cost per lead on the front end. When we're actually working with a coach, we will of course optimize the front end for the lowest cost per lead at the highest scale possible, but we'll also help them with optimizing everything after the click as well. The funnel conversion rate, the email marketing, SMS, WhatsApp marketing, conversations, whatever needs to occur to make sales occur on the other side of the lead coming through. That's what we focus on with them, as well as the ads themselves on the front end. But today we're inside the ads dashboard. We're going to focus on step number 1. The most important thing, because you don't have opportunity if you don't have opportunity, we're going to focus on the lowest cost per lead, things that you can do to get that to happen. Okay, so like I said, we're going to completely freeball this. I don't know what direction it's going to go in, but there's going to be so many learnings that you can take from this for either setting up your first ads or taking ad campaigns that are already running and getting drastically lower cost per leads. So we always have an example lead campaign just initially created so that we can go in and show you some bits and pieces. And I was actually just recording some reels and different things as well. So we might even draw upon some of those learnings inside this video. Okay, let's look at a few things that you can do with the campaign itself. So when we actually hit edit to open up the campaign, just as a quick reminder to everybody, the campaign is set up in 3 steps. The very first thing is your campaign. That's the what. What are you doing? Is it a lead campaign? Are you looking for sales? Are you looking for awareness? Are you looking for engagements? Are you looking for messages through Messenger? What it is that you're looking for is essentially what the campaign is, okay? The ad set is step number 2. Ad set, for easiness of understanding, is the audiences. It's who is going to see your ad and where are they going to see it, okay? So it's like detailed targeting, people who are interested in Tony Robbins in the US between the ages of 30 and 45, and we want them to see the ads only on Instagram, right? Probably wouldn't do that, but that's an example of what we're doing with the ad set. Then we have the ad itself, and that is the creative. So that is looking at the images, the copy, videos, all of those different things working together, okay? So the very first thing that you can do to lower the cost per lead is to actually increase the amount of people who can actually see your ads, okay? So one thing that people do very often inside the ad set level is they massively restrict the amount of people who can actually see their ads, even outside of people who most commonly will book a call with them or buy from them. And so they might go, my dream demographic is X. This is very commonly seen with coaches who are obsessive over my perfect avatar and have a name for that person and things like that. There's nothing wrong with that. I actually quite like that as a strategy for a coaching business to get really dialed in on what you should be creating on any daily basis. However, what you can find is that person will set up ads and it will say, for instance, this person lives in Florida or a place in Florida, for instance. I'm not saying that with a tone like Florida. Florida's ridiculous. I live in Florida, but I'm emphasizing that they might go a little bit too niche. So they live in Florida, even though they have an online business that can serve people anywhere across the United States or otherwise. And they might say people age 32 to 37, because that is what Sally is, my avatar. And then in terms of, gender, if it's Sally, it's going to be female. And then advantage detailed targeting, they may be super, super specific with what this is as well. So they may go for a detailed targeting that only has, let's say, 32,000 people in it. So when we whittle it down to, let's say, Florida, as an example. Okay, so Florida. And then from there, we have 32 to 37, and then we have female only, and then let's just say that we've got the detailed targeting, and I don't know, law. Let's see. Literally just spoke to somebody who helps with legal stuff. Right, so this is actually a little bit more chunky, but what you're really looking for in cold audiences is at least 1 million people inside the audience. Now, there can be some winners in this scenario here, but it's not a lot of scalability. So we tend to say that in today's day and age, if this was 5 years ago, I might have been saying something a little bit different, but in today's day and age, you're pretty much looking for the opportunity to push Facebook in the right direction. That's basically it. You're not looking to tell them exactly who they need to target down to a T. You're pushing them in the right direction, okay? And so if, for instance, this is what they were targeting, but I was to speak to that person and say, okay, your cost per lead right now is £3 per lead. In this demographic, I'll typically see that a really good ad campaign can achieve £1.20. So we're quite a bit off here. Can I ask you a little bit about your avatar? Okay, so the very first thing is that with the age range right here, what is the age range of most people that work with you? Oh, well, Neil, I mean, to be honest, I've got some people who are 24 years old, I've got some people who are 58 years old, and then I'll go, okay, so what is the reasoning between having 32 to 37 as the age range? And they'll go, well, that's just kind of like, that's my target avatar, so I thought really, really whittle down and, you know, get specific with them. Well, one of the very first things that we can do there is we don't have to go all the way down to 18. We don't have to go to 65 plus. But if we were even to go to, let's say, so remember, we've got 29,000 here on the low end. So 229,000. So let's say that we go just 4 years down to 28. Now we've got 341,000. And then let's just say that we take this to 42. So again, not massive changes. Now we've got it to over 500,000. And so remember that Facebook is a bidding platform. And if we want to be able to get the lowest cost per lead, well, first of all, we need to find the people who actually want what we have. And Facebook might find that more people are reactive to our ads who are in these other age ranges or other detailed targeting. The second thing that happens with the bidding platform angle of this is that not every single person that you get in front of has the same cost associated with them. Let's just say that there's tons of people that are trying to target me with ads. Well, it's going to cost more to get in front of me. And so if Facebook can find other people who there's less competition for, and bear in mind, that has nothing to say that that person is not a 7-figure business owner who has tons of disposable cash and is primed for your service, whatever that service may be. And so just because they're lower cost to get in front of does not mean that they're not a perfect lead. It just means that there's less competition from other people trying to get in front of that same person, just because of detailed targeting and different things. And so if you widen the age range slightly, even just like 2 years down and 2 years up, you'll lower the cost per lead most commonly because you're widening the net that Facebook can go after. Okay, so that's one thing that you can do. A second thing that you can do here is add additional pieces of creative to your campaign. So I was actually recording a reel, so you'll see that coming out. But we were actually talking about long copy versus short copy, and I was saying about how you should use both short form and long form copy in any campaign to lower your cost per lead. Okay, the reason why is because I'll give you a bit of a snapshot of what the data tells us about long form copy and short form copy and which one is the best. We tend to find that short form copy has a lower cost per lead, but has less intent and less follow through. Longer form copy tends to have a higher cost per lead, but more intent. Okay, so it kind of like flips on its head there. What you want to do is not look at that and say, okay, well, this is a priority for me or this is a priority for me. Instead, you kind of want to do your best here to have the lowest cost per lead with high intent. Well, how can you do that? You use both, okay? And so you actually have, let's say, Shoney 255 method has multiple ad variations within it. But just for this easy example here where we have only 2 ads, well, we could have ad image number 1, ad image number 1, but we could split out that one has short copy and one has long copy. And what happens is let's just say that somebody sees the long copy, okay? And what do we know about long copy? It highly engages people, it creates high intent, but very often doesn't actually get the lead. So what happens when somebody stops scrolling and reads the long form piece of content? Well, Facebook, when that person goes on to IG or Facebook a couple of hours later, they're actually going to show them the first ad here, the short form copy, to re-engage them. So they're going to re-engage the same person who already showed intent, hammer them with a different ad, and get more people over the line. Bear in mind, most people, or most advertisers, are only using one ad, okay? So they only have one ad running at any given time. And so that means that if somebody shows intent, Facebook or Instagram need to show the same ad to the same person over and over and over again to try and re-engage them and get them to take action. The great thing of having multiple ads in any ad campaign is that Facebook has ammo to go and re-engage that person meaningfully and achieve the lowest cost per lead, okay? Because bear in mind, if you have 100 leads come in, not many of those 100 people will have opted in with the first ad that they saw. Remember that. That's really, really, really important, okay? So that's a couple of things that you can do first and foremost to lower the cost per lead. I'm actually going to throw a bit of a curveball with number 3 here, which is that Facebook so often tell us that they have certain things that can lower cost per leads, and all you have to do is click a single button and then that can happen, okay? And maybe you'll achieve the lower cost per lead as well. Bear in mind, I on a daily basis and across 2 different businesses that I've got, both implementing and teaching Facebook ads, we're working with probably in the region of 300 to 350 ad accounts actively on a daily basis. And the amount of times where we have had the happiest clients, absolutely flying, can't believe what's going on here. There'll be the testimonials that we're sharing on a daily basis, and then all of a sudden everything falls off of a cliff. What changed? Facebook had a pop-up that came up and said, hey, you know how you've got 5 audiences? Why not combine them into one? Our experiment showed that could lower the lead by 4%. And so they thought, well, that makes sense. Facebook's telling me to do it. Hit apply. Now they don't have 5 ad sets. They have 1 ad set. Everything's bundled together. They now no longer know which audiences are working and which audiences are not working. And they suddenly say, my cost per lead is absolutely shot up. What's happened? And we've had to recreate their campaigns from scratch. Very often, when it says based on our experiment, you see that it's an experiment of like 23 advertisers. Bear in mind, they have millions of advertisers. So when it's like, 23 ad accounts, and this is what happened in 2021 when we tested this. And it's like, it's not very good, reliable data. Never mind the fact that you need to remember that Facebook is a business. And what do they want? They want every single place where they have advertisement opportunity to be maximized. They do run out of inventory, okay? And so when they're telling you to apply things, go outside of your detailed targeting, go outside of your locational targeting, go and expand the opportunities for them to mess around with your images and creative and copy and all of those things. Hey, some of these things may be absolutely amazing in 2026, 2027, 2028. Right now, they most typically are not. It's whenever we have a client that's super happy and everything falls off of a cliff, it usually comes back to clicking one of these buttons and applying something that Facebook has told them to do. Okay, now when I say that they are a business and they're saying go and do this thing, it's usually because they want to expand the audience or they want to expand the placements in which they can actually put your advert in front of people, so that the people with low amount of people going, low amount of competition, they can actually place your ad there. This is often very click happy people who don't take any action, and Facebook wants you to give them permission to go and throw your ad wherever they want, whether it's on Facebook, off of Facebook, a partner's website. They want to throw your ad there so that they can bill you for it, whilst right now there's an empty space. Nobody wants to advertise there, okay? So keep that in mind when they're telling you to make changes, especially when you've already got a campaign that's rocking and rolling. You do not want to make that change, okay? Right, let's go into some other details with ads themselves. So a really big one, I actually just... I was showing this before on a reel. But when it comes to your ads themselves, one thing that you really want is you want variation, not just in your ad copy, but in your ad images and videos. You want images and videos to be inside there to lower the cost per lead. A lot of people say to me, so what's better in 2025? Is it video ads or is it image-based ads? And it's like, it's actually both. And you'll see the reel that I'll put out showing my current ads that I'm running right now, which have a variation of 2 videos and 3 images, okay? One of the images, it actually isn't this one right here, but it's like this. So one is a post-it note like this. Another one is a fake ChatGPT prompt, which is actually working amazingly. Another one is a blue background with white text, really clean. The blue creates a pattern interrupt, stops people scrolling. The white simple text is direct to the point. It re-engages people in a great way. And in terms of the videos, I have a video where I'm actually inside the free course that we're giving away, showing them the inside of it. And then I actually have another video in which I'm actually just walking around here talking about Facebook ads for 10 minutes. It's a 10-minute video, okay? There's so much variation there. And that variation allows me to re-engage people in such a deep and meaningful way that it allows us to get people who have seen ads 4 times to see the 5th ad and still stop scrolling and read, or stop scrolling and watch. And it allows us to re-engage people and get that lowest cost per lead as well. So if you're not already doing this, all you need to do is just come in to any ad that you create and hit quickly duplicate. And when you duplicate it, it's going to create the new one. Always come in and change the name so you have some good way of being able to look at your ads and know what you're looking at. Be descriptive, ideally. And then all you're going to do is just delete the media, add in your new media and publish. And suddenly you have 2 images, or you have an image and a video, and now you have variation that Facebook can work with to get lower cost per leads. This is one that very recently I did an ad strategy session with somebody who actually to date has still not signed up, right? But I did an ad strategy session with them. They messaged me soon after, said they were absolutely buzzing. They showed me that they had what most coaches have, which is a 1-1-1 campaign, which is one campaign going to one ad set with one advert. And I didn't go into the full Shoney 255 method in the short amount of time that we had, but I said, look, just to show you what variation does, all I want you to do here is just duplicate the image, and I want you to put in a video. That was all that he did. I showed him how to then duplicate it into the other ad sets and the other campaign that he had running as well. And when he came back to me, he said that it was almost 50% lower cost per lead by simply adding in the video. The other thing that was actually quite interesting was that he said, it's lowered my cost per lead by almost 50%, but the image is weirdly still getting most of the leads, right? This is one of those ones where if you haven't ran ads for, 13 years in my case and taught them for almost a decade, you'd be like, that doesn't make any sense. How has this happened? I added something in, it's not getting many leads, but my overall cost per lead is drastically dropped. It's what I told you before. It is Facebook re-engaging people with certain ads. So it might be showing people video first. It's engaging them in a deep and meaningful way. It's not getting the lead, but when the image comes in as the second ad that they see, it's getting the lead at that point. So instead of just seeing an image, not engaging them very well, then trying to show them the same image, then trying to show them the same image, then trying to show them the same image, it's actually going, let's show them the video first. Once they've watched the video, let's show them the image, re-engage them, and get the lead at that point. That's what Facebook is doing at scale for us when we give them things to work with here, okay? Okay, so let's come out of the campaign itself. I'll show you another couple of things that can be really helpful. Okay, so we'll come back to campaigns. I'll take myself down here. Okay, when we actually look at the stats from your ads, so let's say your ads have been running 24 hours or 24 days or 24 months, it doesn't matter. As long as they've been running and you've got some data, then there's a couple of cool things that we can do to lower the cost per lead quite dramatically, okay? So inside here, we have our lead campaign. Let's say it's been running for 7 days. And it's usually set to the columns being performance driven, okay? Which is all of these things here. So if I can scroll across, So it's got results, reach, impressions, cost per result, amount spent, when does the campaign end. That's all that it's showing us. What we want to add to your dashboard is link click-through rate, or to be more specific, because there's two variations of it, CTR brackets link click-through rate. Now, all you need to do is you can actually come to customize columns and add it in, but if this is available to you, it's not for everybody. You can actually go to performance and clicks, okay? If you add performance and clicks in, it changes what we can actually see here. And when you come across, there's a couple of things that we can see that's really cool, which is cost per 1,000 views. And then we can also see CTR, link click-through rate. So let me go into this, and then I'm going to give you a few things that you can do with CPM that is absolutely dynamite as well, okay? So with link click-through rate, what this is telling us is it's going to give us a percentage. It might say like 1.26%. What it is saying is what percentage of people who see your ad click on the button, or if there's a link inside the copy, click on the link and go to where you want them to go. This is not people who like, this is not people who comment, this is not people who share, this is not people who stop scrolling, who watch the video or do anything like that. This is the action takers. This is people clicking the button to open up the form, or clicking the button to go to your website, or clicking the link that you have dropped neatly into your ad copy. So it's a great indication of how many people are actually taking action on the front end from your ads. Now, albeit that different industries, different campaign styles dictate what the perfect link click-through rate should be, or the target link click-through rate should be. To keep this really simple, if you've got over 1%, the ads are doing their thing, okay? It means that the ads are doing their thing of stopping people scrolling, grabbing their attention, and getting people to read and take immediate action, okay? If it is below 1%, that means that the ads are the problem, holding you back from lower cost per leads. So this is kind of two tips in one based upon what you see inside your stats. If it is over 1%, but you don't have a cost per lead that you're happy with, or indeed you're like myself and you just like to continuously work on lowering your cost per lead further, then if it's over 1%, we know the ads are already good. The copy is good, the images are good, the videos are good. And so trying to get a lower cost per lead by making a new video is not the fix. The fix here instead is to work on the form, so what happens after they click the button, or the landing page if you're sending people off of Facebook, okay? So you might be using Facebook lead forms, you might be sending people to your website. If your link click-through rate is drastically below 1% or drastically over 1%, that is what the problem is, okay? So that is the biggest lever that we can pull to lower cost per lead in that situation. And so whenever we have a client that we're working with where cost per lead is fine, but it's way off of where we know it can be for this industry, one of the first things we'll look at is link click-through rate. And if it is way below 1%, we'll work on the creative and the audiences. And if it is way above 1%, we'll work on the Facebook lead form, or indeed the landing page if we're sending people to a landing page instead of using a Facebook lead form, okay? And for the form, that can be taking away phone number, it can be how we present, how we're gonna use their data, it can be removing steps. Sometimes, this is one of these weird ones, it can actually be adding in a qualifying question, right? So often people will say remove friction to increase the amount of people that submit the form and then lowers cost per lead. Sometimes, especially in high skepticism markets, making it feel like they need to work a little bit to have the right to get the freebie can actually increase the amount of people that go through and actually take action. If you do this for booked calls through Facebook lead forms, having the qualifying questions inside there is a complete game changer for cost per book call, and also for the amount of people who actually show up to the call and take action, okay? So it's a really, really, really big one. On the other side, so if you have a link click-through rate that's drastically below 1%, so let's say it's like 0.35%, well, it means that the ads themselves are not doing their thing. So we have to switch up either the audiences, so put it in front of audiences that have a higher link click-through rate, or indeed we have to widen that audience. Like we were saying before, that can be a good way of doing it to find additional people, and there might be better suited people within further audiences. Or indeed, we can change the images, the copy, or the video, okay? And I'm going to also future pace you here a little bit. Imagine that you actually follow all of those things, you make all of those tweaks, and you can't get the link click-through rate to go above 0.5%, and your cost per lead is not a place where you can stay comfortable. Well, in that case, you probably don't have the right thing on the front end. Your offer isn't good enough. So not all lead magnets are created equal. In that type of scenario, I would say, well, you need a different lead magnet. You need to change the name of it. You need to change what it is. You need to change what you're giving away. Here's an example. I took our free Facebook ads course. Initially, it was just a really long form video, right? So I did it as like a 90-minute training. As soon as I changed it to the Facebook ads course and broke it up into individual trainings inside a portal, we had a drastic drop in cost per lead. And so sometimes just making small changes like that can be the thing. It's not the ads, it's not the audiences, it's just the positioning of the thing that you're doing, okay? So that's a couple of really big ones. Finally, we'll go into CPM, because this is one where a lot of people look at it like it's a vanity metric, and it is when like agencies are like, they're not reporting on how much money you've made. They're not reporting on your cost per lead. They're telling you how many clicks you got, how many people saw your ads, and hey, your CPM is fantastic, right? Those things that are meaningless if you're not getting a good cost per lead or any money into the bank account. But with CPM is cost per 1,000 views, right? Or 1,000 impressions, as Facebook puts it. So for every 1,000 times that your ads are seen, how much is it costing? And sometimes when we have highly engaged ads, so we have a good link click-through rates, but we have a high cost per lead, the next place that we might look is the CPMs, okay? And sometimes we see that it's, let's say, like £30 per 1,000 people who see your ads. Whereas a lot of the best advertisers that we work with will achieve somewhere between £5 and £10 per 1,000 views. So as you can imagine, if you get it from 30 to 5, your lead cost, in theory, if everything else stays the same, will be 1/6 of the price, okay? So CPM, when you know when to look at it and when it's important to look at it, can actually be a meaningful stat, something that you can use to make informed decisions to lower the cost per lead, okay? And so what are a few things that you can do to lower the cost per 1,000 views? Well, one of the first things you can do is expand the audience the way that I showed you at the start of this video, okay? If you're way too niche with who you're targeting, then you may be throttling the campaign and forcing Facebook to advertise to the same people over and over again with lower engagement every single time, and then Facebook will start to charge you more over time to get in front of the same people, okay? Whereas if you expand the audience by expanding the age range or the locational targeting, then you can often achieve a much lower cost per 1,000 views. And again, if everything else stays the same, then your cost per lead drastically comes down, okay? A second thing that you can do is you can have more engaging ads. So sometimes ads are super boring, short form, direct, and to the point, and there is a place for that 100% inside the variations of your ads. But if you want to have really good cost per 1,000 views, things like my 10-minute video are fantastic for it. Because when somebody is willing, like literally it won't take tens of thousands of people to do this, it'll take just a handful of people to do this. Watch the entire video to the end. And that's not usual behavior from an advert, to watch a 10-minute video to the end. That is an indication to Facebook that this is highly engaging, great content that keeps people on the platform. An ad that actually keeps people on the platform for longer, okay? That's telling Facebook this is somebody who deserves to reach more people for a lower cost, okay? Another thing that you can do is stop deleting comments. That's number 3. Facebook ads itself brings in plenty of hate. I should know, being in a high skepticism market, business coaching, marketing coaching. So when you're in that position, very often you'll end up with spam comments, and what most people do is delete the comments, okay? They think, if people see these comments, they might not opt in. The absolute opposite happens here, for 2 reasons. The first thing is, if you delete the comments, it's basically telling Facebook, you don't want people to see what people are actually thinking, and that increases your cost per 1,000 views. So first off, stop deleting them. You can take this to the next level to lower cost per 1,000 views by actually replying to them in a meaningful way. Now, here's a really funny thing. I did this as an experiment to show my systems of scalers. We were about to do our in-person event in Barcelona, and I wanted to show them a bit of a split test here. And quite simply, I stopped replying to all comments on ads for about 10 days. And then I got all the data from that 10 days. And then I replied to every single comment on every single ad for about 7 to 10 days thereafter to show the drop in cost per 1,000 views, but also, and more importantly, the cost per lead, which drastically came down with it. And here's why it was so powerful. The first thing about reasons for not deleting the ad is really important. The second thing, showing more engagement through replying to the ad is really important as well. But there's a third thing, which is if you take the time to reply in a way in which you don't come across as cocky and arrogant and shutting them down, but instead you meet them with grace and you reply to them in a very educational way, you can actually have people reading your comment reply and actually wanting to opt in after reading it. Okay, so for instance, if somebody was to say, this Facebook ad strategy wouldn't work for X reason, don't you know that? Like that type of thing, right? Really arrogant and just out of nowhere, and they usually have like 7 followers and their profile picture is a cartoon. But it's an opportunity for us, right? So I'll reply with something like, totally appreciate the comment, thanks for sharing. Well, I'm sure there's many different ways to run Facebook ads to get to the desired result. I'll just say that in the last year, we've had everything from the fitness coaches to the business coaches, the dog trainers, fiction writing coaches, and all sorts hit 6-figure months and 7-figure years just in 2024 alone using this system right here. So it doesn't just generate really good cost per leads, but it actually generates real business. So if I share it like that, share it with grace, but make it educational in some sort of a way, or indeed if they ask something about strategy, we break down why the strategy works so well. We don't just get lower cost per leads, we get people liking our replies. And it's one of those things where you're just like, every single time you get a hateful comment on an ad, it now becomes an opportunity rather than something that you're like, oh, somebody's sharing hate with me. Instead, now it's opportunity. It's like, great, a comment, an opportunity to reply in a meaningful way, to lower my cost per 1,000 views, to lower my cost per lead, to showcase what it is that I know and how I can help people. It's excellent, okay? And so I think that we probably did close to 10 there. I might do this like once a month, just like dive into the dashboard, not know where we're going to take it and show you a bunch of different stuff. Maybe go through the ads that I'm running specifically, some things that are working and some learnings and different things. I'm going to do a video that goes through some of the ads that I'm running specifically. The ChatGPT one is working really well, where basically I did a prompt, screenshotted it, and actually like in Canva changed the reply. So it was like as if ChatGPT was telling people to get our free Facebook ads course in a tongue-in-cheek way. It's working really well. Long form video, another thing that almost nobody uses with Facebook ads, but is working really well for us. I want to run through that with you guys as well. First of all, if this has been valuable to you, please drop below, let me know. I really, really appreciate it. Plus YouTube loves all that jazz, so I appreciate that as well. And as always, I'll drop our free Facebook ads course link down below. I'll also drop a link to our one-page PDF. If you want to know what it's like to work with us directly, we don't get you to jump onto a call if you don't want to. Instead, you can literally download a PDF that even has the price of the program within it. We're very direct and to the point, so you can go and grab that right now down below if you'd like to. Other than that, I will see you on the next video, and big love.